Hello! So, Temporis IV is out, and maybe you're a bit confused and not sure what all the hype is about, or maybe you hopped in there and you have no idea what's going on. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick rundown over the basics of how this server works and what's going on to help you on your way. Welcome to Benjamight Gaming, where it's my goal to bring you fun and fantastic Dofus PVM content. Alright, so when you first get here, you're going to scroll down to the bottom of the server list, and you have to be subscribed in order to partake in these. And you'll notice that there are a handful of servers. They're all the same, but it's a matter of finding who it is you're going to be gaming with. I'm on Temporis X, and there are several other English content creators that are also on this server, so if you're looking for one to pick, that might be a really good one for you to try out. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the Temporis server X, or number 10, and then you get to your normal character creation screen. You're going to go to create. And what you're going to notice here, though, is it looks a lot different. Up here, you're going to get a list of the spells that your class is going to start with. And this is basically it for when you start. Because when you go through this, you're going to drop spells as drops, like loot. You can also craft spells. And there's some random ways to get some hidden spells as well. I'm going to go over all that here in a minute, but just know that what you're seeing here is basically what you're going to start with. So a passive spell, I believe, is going to be like an attack spell. It's going to be something that you can use against the enemy, whereas a active spell is going to be something that you activate on yourself or others, like buffs and things like that. As you go through here, you can hover over top of this. It'll give you a brief breakdown of what each of these classes are going to do. And if you get one, like for instance, when I made my Elio, I have 2 active spells. So I actually don't have a spell that I start with that can actually do damage. But that's okay, you get spells pretty quickly in this. But don't forget, you do start out with a fist punch. And then if you go through the tutorial, you'll get a weapon, and you can use that until you get yourself a spell. Or if you group up with other people, you'll drop one pretty quick. So when you first get here, what you're going to do is you're going to look through these, pick the class that you want, hover over top of these, see which one sounds interesting to you. I'll go over more how the spells work here in just a minute. So let's go ahead and pick our class. All right, here we are. I'm right outside where you complete the tutorial. And again, I recommend you go through the tutorial. I think you'll get to level 3 before you finish, so it's a great way to start out. You'll notice that the characteristics section looks the same. Your inventory section looks the same. Most of the game works the same way. But you got this new thing right here, this icon called Temporis. If we click that, you're going to see a long line of things that you can get. And if you're familiar with the way a lot of first-person shooter games and things like that work now, like Fortnite and stuff, where you've got a season pass and you can progress your way as you level, this kind of operates very similar to that. Only what you're trying to do is earn these tokens. So when you get to 10 tokens, you'll unlock the Scroll Slayer certificate, which is a title you can put on your character. Once you've moved up to 30, you get this accelerating scroll. And when you use this, it's going to put 6 stats, as if you've scrolled 6 stats in each of your elements for your character. And then you move on and up. There's pets you can get. Here's where you can get some spells. Remember how I told you some of the spells you get in unique ways? There's commas, there's nuggets, emotes. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here, and it's really cool stuff to look at. So just take you a little time. At the top, it shows you how much you'll need to progress before you get there, and the end amount is 6,000, in which you can get IOP's Wrath. Apparently that's a pretty big one. So you might be asking yourself, okay, well, how do I get those tokens? I'll show you that here real quick. You go underneath quests, and if you go to achievements, down here at the bottom, there's a new section. You've got all the normal stuff. You got exploration, you got your dungeons, you got your monsters, and down here though is where you can earn the Temporis tokens. So first wave dungeons, defeat Kadorium in the boss's dungeon. If you do that, you reach level 10 and defeat him, you get 1 token. Same with this. You beat the famished sunflower, you get 1 token. Now there's also going to be a second wave and a third wave. This says defeat a second time at least 1 week after the server is opened up. And this one is at least 2 weeks after the dungeon is opened up. And this is how you, as long as you beat it each of those times, you'll get another token for that. The achievement points is another way. So like once you've reached 50 achievement points, you'll get one. 100, you get 2. Some of these, once you start getting a ways into there, you get 25 once you've reached 2,000 achievement points. The challenges, so the dungeons and different things. The wanted notice quests are a really good one to be trying to do, because quests and achievements are also going to get you a lot of XP. There's no multiplier on this server, so you're going to be leveling at the normal rate. Quests are a fantastic way to get some achievements. So you do 10, you get 5 tokens. 25, you get 10 more, and they stack up. I highly recommend try to do some quests. Definitely do some explorations. These things up here that are quick and easy to knock out because they unlock tokens down here. All right, also when you first get here, there is a new NPC, this Profess Orokasum. If you talk to her, she's going to give you a really easy first quest, and you definitely want to get this, because what she's going to have you do is she's going to have you beat one of each one of these, which is basically what you find here in the starting area. Here's the high heat, firebrain, bonfire. You're going to fight one of each of those. When you talk to her, then she's going to give you the option to pick one scroll in the element that you want. So if you want to be chance, intelligence, strength, agility, you get to pick which one of those elements you want, and they're going to give you a scroll for that. Now, you may be saying, okay, this is all well and good, but I still don't know how to get scrolls. If my character has none, how do I get spells? If we bring up the encyclopedia here, and we're going to look at the enemies that are just in this first area of Incarnum, look at all the stuff that this little guy can drop. He's got his normal stuff, the intangible meats, eternal ash, and things like that. But now you can drop all this gear from him, and then these are what the scrolls look like. So here's a Clag spell. Grapnel is actually a Foggernaut spell, but you can use this on any class if you get a copy of this spell. Here's Haziness, that's a Zeller spell. And what you're going to do is once you drop one of these, all right, I got a spell, chance spell, Frozen Fist. Now, in order to use this, all you got to do is double click it. But before I do that, I want to show you, if you click on spells, this is the format that you see now. These are all the available spells on the Temporis server. Now, if you look next to these, you're going to see a level. That's a level that your character needs to be in order to use it. Doesn't mean that your character has to be that level to get it. If you're level 70 and you drop this scroll or craft this scroll, you just hang on to it like this until you can use it. Now, next to that, you're going to see 3 different symbols. This means you can craft it. This means it comes from a monster as a drop. And this means there's a secret method to get it. Now, if you're curious how to craft it, you can click right on the hammer, and it'll tell you the 3 scrolls that you need to combine in order to craft this. Now, you do have to level a scroll maging profession, and I'll show you that here in just a second. But if you have these 3 scrolls, you can mage them together to form Paralyzing Word. If you want to see this Astral Blade, if you want to see which creatures drop that, you can click this, and it's going to bring up a list of all the creatures that have a chance of dropping that spell right there. And it tells you the percent and all that kind of stuff. And then the secret method, if you click it, it doesn't tell you anything. Now, I've shown you one way to get that, and that is through the Temporis. Now, I don't know if there's some other ways. I haven't been playing very long, but there might be some other ways to obtain these. If anyone knows of those, have already come across some of those, go ahead and leave it in the comments below so everybody's aware of how to get maybe some of these secret spells. So that's all the spells right there. Now, if I double click this, it jumps to the top of the list because I've unlocked it. And you can see that it's lit up now too. Now I can take it, put it up here. And now if I look at my spells, I have an actual spell to use now. Now, you don't have to be worried if you've used a spell that you don't plan on. For instance, if you dropped a water spell and you're like, okay, this is the only spell I've got, so I want to put all my points into chance so I can use this spell. You can do that. But if you say you really want to be intelligence build, this is a short-term thing, no worries. If you want to at any time, you can click this scroll button right here, and it's going to take the spell and put it back in a scroll format over here. And the reason you may want that is because maybe you don't need it anymore, Or perhaps you come across a craft that you want to have and you don't need this spell. Instead of having to go out and buy another one or anything like that, you can just put it back into scroll format and use it for crafting the spell or selling or whatever you want to do there. So that's a quick rundown on how the spells work. You get one, you double click it, it'll come up here, you add it to the bar, and you'll see right here, I got 1 of 10. You start out with 1 or 2 spells when you first create your character. Those don't count against you, but you get to add 10 spells of your choice to the bar. Once you have 10 items up here, if you come across another spell that you really want, you're going to have to take one off to put one back up. And you can also build several sets. Maybe you have one set that you like to use for PvP. Maybe you have another set that you like to do when you're scroll hunting. You need high prospecting. So you use a lot of chance gear and you want your chance spells. And then you switch over to a strength set of spells because that's your damage build and you got a damage set of gear for when you go to do that. You can save several different sets so that all you got to do is select the set that you want. All your spells pop into place so you don't have to sit there and swap everything back and forth in and out to go do whatever it is that you want to do. So it's pretty handy, and I think that pretty much covers all of the spells. If you have any questions that I didn't cover, feel free to leave those in the comments below and I'll see if I can answer those for you. Now, I also told you that you have to craft some of those spells. If you click on professions and scroll down, you're going to see Scroll Mage right here, level 1, and it levels just like all the other professions. You'll get 40 XP when you craft this one, which is a panda spell. But it doesn't matter that it's a panda spell. If you want that earth-based spell, you can craft this, double click it, and put it on any class you want. It's so fun the way this works. But you can get 1 haziness, 1 grapnel. Both of these I believe are dropped from enemies right up here in Incarnum. And what you might want to do is get a few of these though, because just like everything else, your mage is going to have to be the level that you need it to create the level of the spell that you want. So if you want a level 80 spell, your scroll mage needs to be level 80 in order to craft it. Even if you have all the scrolls, you still have to be level 80 in order to craft it. So just like when leveling equipment, you might have to make several sets of a cheaper one to try to get to the level that you need. But then once you've got that, right here when you click on spells, and you need to craft one, you can hover over top of this and it says craftable at -4, -24. And down there in Amachna, I believe that's the Almanac's temple is where that's at. You're gonna find a little table off to the right-hand side. You can go over there and that's where you can craft your scrolls together. All right, I think that covers everything there. All right, so just a couple quick last moment things I wanna mention to you. This is a brand new server and it's a temporary server. The work that you do here, I believe that whatever level you get your character, you're going to get an XP scroll that will be sent over to your main account when this all closes over, equivalent to the amount of XP that you invested here. So if you wanted to start a new character or pump it into a character you already have, I believe you can do that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And I believe some of the cosmetic stuff will get to go with you as well. Like if you get one of the pets or the pets mounts, I think you get to pick which one of those you get to go take with you back to the other server as well. But a lot of the stuff that you do here is going to stay here. I don't think you get to take your commas. I don't believe you get to take your gear. So just be mindful of that when you're in here and you're grinding and you're like, I want to be the first level 200 lumberjack. Well, it may not be worth all the effort to try to get to a level 200 lumberjack when 2 or 3 months, they haven't said when it's going to close yet, but 2 or 3 months from now, it may not have done you much good, because the main purpose of this server is to try to get through this whole line of stuff. This is what the goal is, to get through all this stuff. Now there's lots of paths to get there. Maybe making professions is a good way to go because there's achievements for accomplishing profession milestones. Maybe breeding mounts is a good way to go because people are going to want them. Yeah, you're going to make some money, but it's also a great way to get some more achievements. So you want to be having this right here in mind as you're doing this. The goal is to get as far into this as you can before the time runs out. Not to stockpile a ton of cash or to be the first character to 200 or anything like that. Those are all great, but it's not going to stand out as much as if you got all the way through this. Look at this. You could actually get an Orc Dofus to use while you're here if you got up high enough. Just be mindful of that when you're doing this. This is the goal. Okay, this is a temporary server. It's going to close down, and then sometime down the road, there's probably going to be a Temporis number 5. I hope that at least gives you an understanding of the basics of how this works. The rest of the game pretty much works the same way. The main thing is you're dropping gear, you're dropping scrolls. You can swap scrolls in and out on your classes. You can make a rogue but use Osamoda spells. You can use a Kron, you can use Panda spells. I played with an Eka yesterday that had almost every IOP spell. It's really fun to see all the change up, and it's really cool too. I hope that helps give you an understanding of how this works. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you could do me a quick favor, smack that like button. Helps YouTube promote my channel and let people know that I'm here. Also, if you don't want to miss any future content that I make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you're notified when that stuff goes live. Also, I'm doing a lot of live streaming on the Temporis X server, number 10. So if you're on this server, turn on notifications, and anytime I hit that go live button, you'll know, and then you can come hop in with me and we'll run stuff together, and we'll just do a lot of good things together as a group. Makes it a whole lot easier to do dungeons and all that kind of stuff. All right, that's everything I got tonight. Be safe, and I'll see you on the next one.